In this video today, we will be looking at a custom app called IT Management that has already been around for quite a while. And if we check the Frappe Marketplace, we can also track on seeing how much this is being used, this app, IT Management. And does it still say there's 316 installs around, although this app has not really been maintained very well lately, to be very honest. But I have the pleasure to announce that someone has taken up this work. So there is a user on GitHub called Trusted Computer who seemingly is using this quite actively and is starting to contribute towards this app, which I'm very thankful for. And I'd like to give a big shout out here at this point too. This guy, Trusted Computer, or gal, who knows. And yeah, get into showing what we are doing. So there's a lively discussion. This is quite new as well. Where's the timestamp here? So this is just 2 days old, and there have been some pull requests, and I've created an issue where I am communicating with this person as well around how to optimize this task. We're getting a quick response here. I'll share all the links if you're interested in joining in the discussion. So really, it's a lot about cleaning up IT management. And there was something that was shared here. I'm still lacking in my overall understanding of how all the many doc types are supposed to work together in a real world workflow. So this is something I want to share in this video to really give an idea how the IT management app works. I'm aware there are quite a lot of bugs in this version at the moment. We are cleaning it up slowly. And yeah, I'm hoping this video also will speed this up because other people might take some interest in this subject and also contribute towards fixing this. So what I'd like to share at this point is how this app really works. To see all the doc types, let's install it. I'm doing this in the background right now. This video might be a little longer because I will be live fixing the errors that I'll run into, at least those that I can. And also I've prepared some slides, and I'll prepare a drawing as well, where we can draw up a graph to better understand what's actually going on and how this all works to get it a bit of a bigger picture. So I'm heading here to Frappe Cloud. We can see here that we have our bench, IT management. We have IT management selected here in the version 16. Before we run this though, what I want to do is actually create a pull request on GitHub where we will merge all the latest changes. You can see there are quite a few actually, and this I'm just going to do without checking it. So updating version 16 with the latest work, and no complex description needed. Come on, as major fixing and not expecting this app to be fully working right now. Anyway, so I'm just going to push this. As said, there are a lot of things that need cleaning up, and I'm guessing this version is not being used so much anyway. Stupid idea. So what we want to do, we will be taking this develop branch. This is where all the latest changes have been made into, and add this to our Frappe Cloud. So we have the version 16 here. I'm going to delete this, remove app. We don't want the version 16 because that's not actually on a status where all these latest changes are part of. I'll have to reload this and add an app. go to add from GitHub, add this URL, and then fetch the branches. It will check if this is PyProject does not exist in this directory. This is not the right one we want. We want to have the develop, validating the app, also not existent. That's no good. Let's check if version 16 has that. It also doesn't have this. So, but it's still, is it not going to let me? No, it's not going to let me add the app. Let's check something else. I have a different bench already prepared. But before we do this, we're actually going to create a new issue for this. Add app. Add from GitHub. Fetch the branches. It's going to give us this error, which I will create a new issue from. New issue, add file to make this work on Frappe Cloud version 16. When selecting the develop branch, let's preview, let's see this. Yes, okay, good. Leave that here as a task. There might be quite a lot we can do. So we have our IT management app. By the way, the reason why this is all dark is because I'm using this dark reader add-on. Very useful. It's a little late here at the moment, so this will be kind to my eyes. So what do we want to look at here? We have ITM landscapes. So this is the first element that we want to create, my IT landscape. And this is where I'm going to open a drawing so we can better understand what a IT landscape is. Let's look into this. An IT landscape, I'm hoping this is coming up. Yeah, landscape. That's a typo right there. Okay, let's understand a IT infrastructure. We basically have, I'm not going to be very good at this, but we basically have a globe here with North America and South America and Europe somewhere here and Africa down here. You get the point. Okay. All IT landscapes are obviously on that globe that I've drawn now. But what I'd like to express here is the globe being the www as the internet. Now, most businesses, which I will represent here as this pretty building, they have a IT infrastructure of some kind. Okay, what do they have? Firstly, most of them have a landline internet connection, which is delivered by a so-called ISP, Internet Service Provider. This, for example, is example in Germany is the Telekom. Okay, so you get your broadband connection from this ISP into your building. This is something where you receive an IP address. I'm going to just draw up a random IP address. I have no idea if this follows suit or anything, but that doesn't really matter, quite frankly, at this point. Ideally, every business has a fixed IP address. Why? We want to have it fixed so it works for example, a VPN connection, which needs a stable IP address to work and not have something to change all the time. There are solutions like this, like dynamic DNS. Again, that's something that then needs to be managed, needs to be tracked, needs to be documented to fully work in our landscape. So I will actually take this up. Optional doing this here right now, and there's DNS. That's what it used to be called anyway for dynamic DNS. Might be some specific provider. I can't remember. Okay, anyway, let's just add this here. There's a, not VSP, there's a VPN, yeah, possible VPN connection that we also want to manage. Okay, let's get back to our business. This is a company here, has, I don't know, 10 employees. 10 employees means 10 employees. Employees with a double E and an S. And 10 employees means 10 times client computer. Let's say these are 8 desktop and 2 laptops. Good. So this is something we have. What does another server have, a company have? Some NAS device, NAS storage. And then they might have some online server. Let's put an email server here, which is in the cloud. And yeah, this NAS storage is a local device. What do we need for a local device? We need a LAN network. So this is connected somewhere to a local area network. The desktop computers also, and the laptops might be connected through a wireless connection. What do we need to host all this? We need some local IP address, 192.168.0.x I'm going to do to represent the whole network. So how does this go on? A local area network needs some networking devices. There is, for example, this is going to be a little small now, a typo switch. This is our LAN switch. The switch normally has a firewall, and the firewall is connected through a router. It's going to be all a little tight here to the internet. Good. All these things that I've now drawn up, and there's many more. There's printers, there's mobile phones, there's Apple Watches, there's everything that needs an IP address and everything really that is somehow connected to this whole process. And we have to be honest, these days, more or less everything is connected to an internet connection, and our whole process is run on something that has an underlying computer, a network, and so on. What is an IT landscape? All of this is our landscape. Yeah, this can be one landscape. The reason is why we are not just saying in IT management in the app that this is representing a customer is there can be customers who have several IT landscapes. For example, a very often case is you might be working for a business, you manage all of their IT assets, but also you have the CEO of that business also as your as your customer, and you will be managing their private IT infrastructure, which is also a separate IT landscape. Maybe they are connected through a VPN. There are obviously CEOs who want to have a direct connection to their offices, and then these two landscapes have a connection to each other, but really when it comes to ownership, etc., they are two different IT landscapes, and you want to really manage them separately from one another. So really what I want to show as well is we have all these elements, desktop, laptops, LAN, and so on. At the end of the day, we are moving in a tree. We have a IT landscape. IT landscape, and in this landscape there might be servers, there might be clients, and there might be something else, and then there are some devices. So that's one element. And then we have networks. There can not only be one LAN, yeah, so basically LAN A, LAN B, we might have our VPN network here, and so on. And then we have a bunch of software. And in IT management, we can also manage software. And we have different types of this. We have licenses that we want to manage. We want to manage software instances. So this is more the library part, yeah, where we are actually having a catalog of software that we have. And then we have the software instance, which is the actual installation somewhere on a client, which we have up here, or even a server. Also, that is interesting to know. There are also user accounts, which are quite important to us to know these days. User accounts are also connected to licensing. You might have some subscription somewhere, floating subscription, where you have one account, you're paying for 4 seats, and that is then used however clients are connected to that account. All these things are quite complex. Again, many systems are not able to represent this with IT management. We should be able to, because it has been designed to do exactly that. Yeah, to be really comprehensive there. Bundling all this software part and the hardware part, what we also receive are so-called IT solutions. Solutions, we have worked with doctors' offices in the past. They have complex systems. They have their patient management system. Then they might have some DICOM system where they are actually checking in the radiology department, for example, the X-ray pictures. You need special screens to look at these X-ray pictures. They have some complex setup with a microphone, some cameras, whatever there is, and there are some machines attached to this as well. So the machines, the X-ray machine, the MRT, the CT, whatever there is. These things, again, they also have a network, right? They are part of a network. They have a LAN connection. Often it's a device. Often there's a client connected to it where you can then manage this machine, and somehow it's integrated with a server, saving pictures, whatever it is. Anyway, these are IT solutions. What we do in these IT solutions is bundle all the components that are important. So this is software. These are the devices. These are the networks. Software instances, licenses, user accounts, all these things, they have to be present and working for this IT solution to be working. Again, that's one of the elements in this hierarchy that we want to look at. There are a lot more of these, as the guy shared. There are, yeah, it's a little bit complex and you can quickly lose the overview. So that's where we want to get into. I'm back in the system. We have an IT landscape here, and we can see here in a landscape there are many host items. This is the only connection here. I'm not entirely sure if this is actually complete. I'm guessing there should be a few more. We will have a look, why not, and if there are. So we can check in the links here, and then now we can already see there is a IT software instance, which is also connected to this. A Windows 10 Pro license or a software installation of this. So this link is missing. I'm going to add this custom manually. Just to quickly do this, we can go to details. We can add this here. We have the ITM software instance that we saw linked. I'm guessing the field has the same name. We'll save it. We will go back, we will reload our browser and see that this connection is now already there. So connections like this are missing all over this system. I'm very aware of this. The reason why this happened is that it's a connection of kind of two things. What I've done now is I've changed things via the UI, right? And when we built this app, we were very novice at using ERPNext and Frappe Framework. We didn't really know where the difference was on doing it via a custom app or doing it via UI. A lot of changes were done via UI. Other changes were done via the custom app, and that's why this is incomplete at this stage. Okay, we have two things here. Let's understand, go forward, maybe add some more, get some overview here. I will actually go back to my drawing and check this and follow up what we actually have here. So I'm going to quickly move this over here so we have these screens next to each other. We have this my IT landscape, and in this we've drawn it up. ITM host item. This is also something that was renamed with time, and we have something called ITM software instance, ITM software instance. Good, moving forward, we have these two things. Let's check our client PC. This is probably the one where we have this instance, software instance. We see here as well, it's turning up twice. I'm not entirely sure why. Might be exactly the same one. It looks like it. Let's have a look here, customize details, and we see here that it's in here twice. So yeah, load there. I will remove one of them, deleting this one. What did it say? Yeah, cannot delete standard link, so it's in here twice. That one I can remove. Okay, good. That is fine. Now we only have one. Good. What else do we have? We have an ITM location here, which we can choose. There's all sorts. We can create a new one. This is a location group, so this is actually ITM location. We have a tree view to represent this. Good, we will add this and think about how this also adds into the IT landscape. I'm just going to put it here because I'm not actually entirely sure right now. So we have the ITM location. Good. What does the location represent? Again, it is a tree view. I did say that. So we have Europe here, Germany, Leonberg. I can add another child. I can add Stuttgart as a child. I could call this a group node as well. I could add another child. I could say Stuttgart Süd, which is the south of Stuttgart. And then I could maybe edit this is location group. We could go further on this. Yeah, so if I'm updating this, sorry, going to go back on the tree. Germany, Stuttgart, Stuttgart Süd. Could add another child, and I could now call this my big company, no, small company in Stuttgart. This is my customer, which I'm going to add here. I'm going to do this a group node as well. And then I'll say add child, and I'll say the main building that they have. Building, all these typos. And we will have a small building. Good, so this is what that location tree is all about. And thinking of it, yes, that a location might be, kind of goes in both directions, right? So an IT landscape, the locations, this could be the landscape containing both of these locations. But at the same time, a IT location could be the host of an IT landscape. That might be sort of a double link happening there. But really, if I'm monitoring an IT landscape, I want to know which locations are involved. So it probably makes sense to have an IT landscape field in this actually. So what I'll do, I'll create an issue for this. This is kind of also one of the points why we are doing this. And IT landscape link field. Going to create a new issue here. Add a link field to ITM location. Consider adding IT landscape link field to this doc type and adding a backlink. Many locations can be part of one landscape. Good. Why are we doing this with the landscape? Again, we want to have a kind of parent doc type to hold all our information. So again, going here, IT management, going IT landscape. So I want to have one place where I see all the locations that are involved. Because as my example, did I show that? Yeah, we might have also a VPN connection to some subsidiary, and we want to say that is all belongs into the same landscape. Yeah, there's not necessarily something wrong in doing that. There's no fully right or wrong here. It really depends on the client and the situation that we have. Good. We have this IT landscape. So I would say we want to have that. I am now going to not add these fields customly because that might cause too much confusion. So we go back to the host item where we came from, client PC. This is probably easy to understand. We have an ITM software instance here. This is a Windows Pro. And what we are missing here, there's no license showing. So we go to ITM license. See that that does not exist. We have ITM. No, so we see a license. Item code is referring to non-date. Okay, good. That is not present. Why? This comes up because we don't actually have ERPNext installed. This is also one of the requirements that we're trying to follow with this version, is to release an IT management version that is completely independent from ERPNext. To fix this problem, license error is not coming up, this error. What we will do is we will go to the doc type. Can't do this here. I have to delete this. Have to delete this. We will see the doc type and we will look for the license, and then we have our license here. It said something about an item. This is the field that we're talking about. We have to see, can we delete this field? Cannot, it's read only. So what can I do? What we can do, just to quick fix this, what we're going to do is create a property setter. And on this property setter, we are going to say that the item field should not be a, actually, hold on, customize form. And then let's see if we can get in here and do license. Does it show? It does not. Okay, so the problem comes up right away. Custom field, not in here. So what we want to do is we do want to create this property setter. We want to create this on a doc field. We want to say doc field is the doc type is license. The field name that we are looking for is item code, and the row name, don't worry, that property that I don't know from heart, but we want to have property setters. There's only little set here, so I'm going to have a look if we can find this field type Yes, I'm not sure, but I think we should find out by looking into the code. IT management doc type, look into the license. Here we have it. License JSON, and then we look for the doc type, document type, field type. Yeah. So basically we want to do this field type and set this to data. Property setter, property field type, property type, and data. Good, let's see. I'm hoping this will work. Saving this, and let's see what it did here. I'm going to reload this, check this, and it's still on data. We will still go and have a look. No, it's opening now. Create first, and there is, where's my field, the item? Yeah, not actually there. So it did work, the property set, that's all good. We have a software license now. We want to set this. This is the Windows 10 Pro client license, just to give it a name. And this, yeah, we could select the customer. There's company here, not entirely sure what this is all about. Also going to create an issue here. New issue, correct the link field, customer, company. Valid to have a company field, the customer, not really needed. What we will want here is the IT landscape. Customer could be optional though, but this is also a dependency to ERPNext and should only be used when is installed. Good, another issue created. Let me close this, let me close this. Good, we are here, customer not going to do that. Good, here's our IT landscape, my IT landscape, we want to have that. See here, license, I'm going to go to the IT location, don't want to have that, IT landscape, and there's another error here, but something happened, not exactly sure what, but this is absolutely fine, because that's what we want to do. Error when opening IT landscape. So we see things are basically kind of coming back here. I'm going to copy this error, put it in here. Now we see all the things now that are connected with this. There's the license. I'm seeing the difference. IT landscape, and we have ITM landscape. So to give you an answer what the difference is here, this is also important. What we chose to do in a release is that we add this prefix ITM landscape, ITM to everything, to really distinctively make all these doc types from this app with an ITM prefix, so we know they belong to this app. You can see the license doc type is actually not done yet. So the reason why we want to do that is when we use ERPNext, when we use other apps, we run the risk that doc type names are duplicate, and that won't work. So if we have some other app which is maybe connected to vehicles and there's a license and registration, right? There might be something, there's a license, and that will then conflict with this. So what we do, we create a a doc type with ITM license, and then the chances that that is a duplicate is a lot smaller. But this is nice. This is what IT landscape should look like. I'm going to create another issue. This we can actually can be closed as this doc type will be retired. Yeah, closing this, going to create a new issue, copy layout from IT landscape to ITM landscape. This is what the ITM landscape should look like. Even more, the idea with the heat map will show the activity of the landscape. The activity could be influenced by timesheets created, issues opened, closed, other events happening in the landscape. So what am I referring here to is this up here is based on the below doc types. Yeah, whatever that means, not entirely sure. We don't really want to really further look into this, but just understand ITM landscape should look like this. Basically, we see all the different things that are linked. We have the location links here. We talked about them earlier. All the stuff considering software. We have the configuration management, and this is a terminology why we actually are doing a lot of these changes as well. That configuration, a configuration item, like it's called here, all these things are configuration items. Like if you look up the terminology in this whole IT management thing, you will understand that a configuration item is an item which is part of the overall configuration. And this is why we also renamed this to a host item rather than a configuration item. So all of these are configuration items, and yeah, we can see a load that would be interesting for us in IT landscape. We see that's a lot less at the moment. This is that one. I will, for the sake of it, do another link where we will add the ITM software instance that we were just, no, that was not what we were looking at. We were on the license, and the license has an IT landscape. Okay, so this is actually a doc type which still needs to be created. Let's see if this is in here. Yeah, it's only this one. So let's create another issue. There's another issue. Create ITM license. The ITM license doc. Elements with the ITM prefix. Good, we will quickly do that in the system. We will go to the license, we will duplicate this, we will call it, I've used this version for a while, new doc tab. So can I save this? No, it's not going to do this. Not going to do this. Good, no worries. We'll have to do this in theory. We will carry on with this in theory. Where's our IT license? So this is our license. We have the IT landscape linked, and we have software, IT software linked. So this is also ITM software. There's an implementation status, which represents if this license is being implemented, if it's in use, running, if there's an issue connected to this, if the licenses run out or the license server is not reachable or whatever it is. If it's in storage, so it's not being used, or if it's obsolete and been taken out, it's been scrapped and so on. But it's always good to keep the information here for history to understand how a system like this actually developed. The limit that we set here is showing license is limited to number of instances. So for example, if you have a floating license, then this could be used 4 times. In this case, it's only it's limited to 1 device, right, to this specific computer. So this is also a thing, floating license. We can also add this. Again, it's not very sophisticated here when it comes to scripting. We didn't really do that back in the day. Subscription, very important. This ends on the 31st of May. And then what you can do is you can create your report and have your expiration dates. This is something you can set up auto email and have anyone who's eligible or should know about this to know about all the expirations of the licensing. I know that that is quite a big problem in that industry, that licenses suddenly run out and no one has a real overview of all of them. And this is where this tool comes in very, very handy to keep this overview. Good. This license might be connected to a user account. Yeah, again, I don't know, you have some Adobe what is it called? Adobe InDesign subscription. You have to create a user account. In that user account, you will have this license. Good. Yeah, that would be there. ATM user account. Let me quickly create this. So Adobe, no, type, what's a type? A type software, I don't know, creative software license. Can't remember what the type exactly we use it for. Customer, don't need that at the moment. IT landscape, we have our landscape. Contact, who's connected to this? So someone in the system. Status is running. Username for this account would be wolfram@famous.eu. This is the email address that I'm using. The host, now this is an important one. Who's the host of this? We can go to Adobe. I'm just going to do adobe.com without further going into questioning that. So where was I? User account here. Software instance. So what do? We create another software instance here. I'm going to do that actually in a new window to make sure that we don't lose our cache here. So we go to a new software instances, field supplier referring to non-existing type supplier. Okay, this is the same thing again, property. We are going to copy this, duplicate. We were on the, what are we looking for? The software instance doc type. Doc field, doc type, software instance. Field name is supplier, and we want to set that field type. We update this non-existing doc type. We create this and we can create this. So here now, a software instance configuration. They want parent software instance. This is also an instance in an instance. This can also be used. How can this be used? Why do we have this? We have this because you might have a plugin for your browser, and a plugin for your browser, just like this Dark Reader, is something that is not, it's not a standalone software, right? It needs a parent software. It needs a host software to run on. I cannot just install Dark Reader without having this Chromium installed. So this is why we have this parent. It's not super complex here. There's no filter or anything, and that can be added. IT software, we want to do this. This is Adobe.com, yeah? And the software which is hosting the user accounts for their subscription So we have something like this. Then we have an actual software. We need an IT software here. Title, this would be Adobe, whatever. Yeah, Creative Suite. Good. This is the software configuration item. Where is it on? We need a configuration item. I'm going to basically add this, make a model. Again, we want to create a, where are we? Property setter, duplicate, configuration item. We have the field which is a make and model, and then make and model, configuration item, item code also. So we have another duplicate item code, save this, we create this. Good, we can create it, adobe.com server type, create a type, cloud SaaS provider. Yeah, something like this. This is the server for Adobe subscriptions. Save this. This is all it needs. Okay. Now we have this. Let's see if we can find our way back. We want to go back here. Configuration item is now the Adobe server. And we save this. Now, finally, we have this. We can create these user accounts, which we wanted to do, right? This is our user account software instance. We now have Adobe Creative Suite here. This will pull the configuration item. This is a fun fetch from functionality. And why do we do this? We're in the, not showing this. We're in the user account doc type. Why is it gone? We're in the user account doc type. This is okay. Quite a long name. Probably makes sense to add a naming series here, but let's not worry about that right now. We have the user account, and it's connected to the configuration item. We can see now this user account is connected here. So when we have a user account for a creative software license, wherever we're using this in this landscape, we can also, this is the host where this is, where the account is hosted, right? Just because we have it doesn't mean it's doing something for itself. The account is hosted somewhere. Any account is hosted somewhere. A local account is hosted on your local computer. Your email account is hosted on some email server. Your Netflix account is hosted on a Netflix server, right? It won't work without. And there's software which hosts it, and under the software there's obviously some host item where this software is running on a big server, a cluster, whatever it is. Good. What do we have here? We have here further tables where this can be linked. This is something I remember which hasn't been used so much because it was very complicated to maintain. But the idea is that you can do links in both directions. We see that these solutions, user accounts, user groups, and licenses, we have similar ones down here. They're not actually the same ones. But let me think how we can get back to where we came from. We have here a user account, yeah, with the license. Okay, good. Let's go back to this item, actually. We go to our, where is it? There should be a link. Yeah, we have this license software instance. This license is part of this software instance, but it doesn't have a license field. Okay. That's, because we're an ITM software instance, correct. We'll go here on the license, non-ITM. We are aware that will be changed. We have this software instance. We're going to create a new one. Configuration item is our Windows PC. We have a landscape, we have a type, and we are going to create a client, which is client computer. And there's a serial number 1234. This is the client computer for creating graphics with Adobe. This is just a description of what this is. So we have a solution here. We can say this is part of a solution, and this I explained it earlier, tried to explain it at least. I can say need this in solution. Is it called the solution? Duplicate a solution and supplier, it said. Yeah, so we go here, we create a new solution. Solution could be graphics and other marketing materials. Yeah, this is my solution. This solution is needed to be able to create all our marketing content. There are some devices, printers, software packages, licenses, and people involved to do this, whatever it is. Good. We have to add a type, solution type, business process, for example. Good. Again, we have an IT landscape. We're going to link this. This might be used at a specific location. We're going to say this is at this location. And importance, let's say we are a marketing company, then it's a super high importance. Description. Where did my text go? Anyway, we have created a video, so it's in there somewhere. Good. We have another table here, solution relationships. So one solution can relate to the other solution, right? Let me give you an example. We have our, what do we have? Our video conferencing system. So let's assume great communication. Add this to the same landscape, add a location here. No, actually, this would be a different location. So let's assume we have a video conferencing system. This is medium that it works, and we want to link this to our other solution, the graphics and the other one. So this is created, and solution, do we have a link here? We would wish we had a link here. This, for now, we can do by going back and adding the other solution on the other side, video conferencing, and then you can see these links are created. Creating links like this is not actually the way we want to create links, because this is now a double link, right? I cannot delete this because, yeah, it will tell me that it's linked and the other way around. So I have to remove this link. Maybe I want it like that, so I can't delete it, but it's not exactly a good way of doing things. But why am I showing this? We want to have these interconnections, right? Because there are dependencies from one solution to another, and this is what it's used for. So again, taking this doctor's office as an example, they have their patient software where they're just managing their patients. But now they might also have a portal where their patients can schedule appointments. And those might be separated solutions from one another, but they are connected to each other, right? So we need the appointment solution connected to our patient management system. Good, the solution .tab. We have also for the things, user accounts connected to this, user groups connected to this. There's IT backup. A solution should be backed up, right? Mostly solutions are critical business processes, and in those cases we want to know about a backup of that same solution. In this case, don't have to worry about it, right? Because Adobe takes care of that. But if we have a local solution of a CAD server, then we want to have a backup for all our data, for example. Good. So solutions, that was that. I'm getting a little lost here, but I'm gonna find my way back. No worries, gonna close this. Solutions, software, we want to go to software instance. Going to delete this, gonna find this. Yeah, so we have our software instance, Adobe Creative Suite, and we are going to link this to the graphics and other marketing materials and save this. And when we go here, we see that there's this software instance connected. Now, this is a business process graphic materials. Maybe there is some other thing. I'm going to call it, we'd have to add some new stuff. But what I want to have, software instance, doing this to also push some open source products, we will share here GIMP. I guess we all know that. IT landscape also in here. Type. This is a configuration item. Where is this? I have to go back. Software instance. Okay, good. I want to go to my Windows PC and I want to install a software. This is also a good example to understand this software. What do? I want to install a software instance on my configuration items with the Windows PC. So what do? Windows. I install configuration item. I pick my software. I will actually create Windows 10 Pro here as my software. Not part of a solution. It has a license. It has a Windows 10 Pro license. Version 10 Pro. This is not in sync. This is also something ideally which would be a crowdsourced thing. So not everyone has to add their own versions, but maybe in a later day. Yeah. Pre-installed when received computer. This is something that is not uncommon. And for that reason, often the actual license key not known. Yeah, the license key here. Good. We have a user account. The user account would be administrator, local administrator. This is my account type. Customer don't need that. Username is administrator. And this is running contacts on this. This is the host, right? The host is my Windows 10 Pro on this computer. Good. I go back again and again and again. And it doesn't go back. We go to Windows 10 Pro. So this is my software instance. I'm going to go back to my. This is my Windows PC. On this Windows PC, I have a software instance. And this software instance has a user account connected, which is the local administrator. Good. We want to go back to our configuration item. On this configuration item, we are going to install a new software. We can now use Windows 10 as a parent, like, right? In a way, it's correct. Yeah, we want to install Adobe Creative Suite into our Windows 10. It's not possible without. Maybe we want to not have that connection, which is completely fine. You can create a software instance and just not use the parent. Create a new software here. We're going to use GIMP. GIMP graphic software. This one, just going to put that here. Save this. Good. License not needed. User account not needed. Part of this Windows installation. So this is now on there. You see here GIMP on Windows PC. The naming again is not ideal. It does actually help to not have two softwares on one computer because it's going to use this name, and no duplicates are allowed, which is hopefully, yeah, you see that. So there is a thing of consistency, but that obviously could be checked. Again, we didn't have the knowledge back then how to do this. We can probably run a validation that the same software is not allowed to run twice on one configuration item, for example. Let's go back to the same. We now see we have a configuration item with 3 software instances installed. Some have an account. Yeah, this one has an account. The Adobe software has an account also, although it's not linked yet. And the GIMP does not have an account. We go here, we have our user account. This is the creative license, and we can then somewhere say this is being used on this software instance. This one, yeah, mainly used on this PC. We could just add this info here. We can add the solution here, graphics and other stuff, and have this on here. Again, the backlinks might not be fully working here. This has been something that we have been working on. We don't actually have a license here yet, so let's do this. Adobe license for 1 seat. IT landscape, also add this here. Software, it is this Adobe Creative Suite. Expiration date, just going to set this by the 30th of June just to add this. It is a floating license, but it's only limited to 1 usage, so I can use the account. This account I can use on several different computers, but only run the software at 1 time. Good. What have we done? User account. Navigate to the user account. We see a license linked. This is now also linked here to the software instance. We can go to the software instance. The user account is not actually being updated here. Let's see if we could do that. We cannot here. Yeah, we cannot, because we are missing the functionality where this would have been linked. We have a different software instance, but this is the host, right? The host of the user account, and this would actually be the software instance where it's being used. So that's something that could be fixed. Let me create a screenshot here. This and this links ITM user account not software instance. We go here. Create a screenshot here, user account. Good. So we're just going to leave that for now. Yeah, there's a slight gap there. We'll go back to the configuration item. This is one of the main things, right? We're handling these client computers. Mostly with problems come up, they happen on client computers. So this is the place where that will be noticed. And yeah, an issue can be raised. So we don't have this here at the moment, but if we had ERPNext installed, we could also have a link to the issue doc type, which could be used to raise problems that happen here. Also, the issue doc type is quite important because we have this IT. We check if that is in here. Checklist, IT checklist, task checklist. This is a table, IT checklist. This is something else. Yeah, this is something else, but it shows what it's about. So basically, we want to have an IT checklist, which is install a computer, a Windows PC with Adobe and GIMP. This is basically what it's for, yeah? This is a manual on how to set up a computer for the graphics department. IT landscape, we have this here. We have a type if we want to create a type. Implementation, again, is this checklist actually being used or not? Now, this is quite cool. This is something we're actually building at the moment in our business in a very generic way, where we are saying, okay, what we want to do is we want to have a checklist, and it works exactly the same way we will see here. And this has actually been quite some magic. It is super simple, but the idea is what I can do here is I want to say we want to identify the landscape, yeah? Identify where the device is set up. We want to do an IT location, which is just called location. Identify the right place to set it up. We want to have a local area network. Which one? We want to have an IP address. Find free IP address. Install Windows. We want to have, so this is a configuration item. Identify host hardware. We want to do a software instance. And here we actually want to do software first. Software, where is it? Is that IT software? Windows 10. Yeah, use this. Install the previous. Good, that needs a license. Track license here. User account. Create local administrator. IT user account. IT user account. Yeah, this is what we want. And then we want to have a software. IT software. And we want to have Adobe. And we want to have IT software. And we want to have GIMP. Good. The software, yeah, we duplicate this maybe and move that down here. You get the point. And what we can then do is actually select the installation here when it's done. And then we can do the check. So this is a very, very good way of making sure to have a high quality output and reaching in the next steps automation, right? You need to have fixed steps. You need to know what's actually happening. This is what IT checklist is used for. The backlinks, I'm not sure if they're in place at the moment. So we have our, let's go back. Where do we come from? We have our software instance. We have our computer here. There's no link here to the IT checklist and configuration. There's no backlink either. Good. We have this configuration item. We can set it up in a location. There might be a floor. This is on the second floor. It actually needs a link for, yeah, second floor. We can do this as a link for location room. Also, this is a separate thing where we say second floor room, add a new one. No, there's something missing here. So there's probably a link field missing, which is IT room, or location room. And here we're going to say graphics office in second floor. Yeah, graphics, let's make it nice. Corner office. This is on the second floor and in the location, ITM location. We save this. We go back to our configuration item and see there's a location room. We save this. Not sure if the backlinks are there. Yes, there are. So we can see there's a location room. There's a configuration in this room. They might have a room number 205. It's on the second floor. It's part of this landscape. Save this. We go to the landscape. We get this bug here, but you get the point. It would look, turn up here. Would it? Location room. Yeah, it would turn up right there. So what else do we have in this location room? There are sockets as well. So this is also something we counted, and also something that I know many softwares cannot do. Knowing an IP address is one thing, but if you, especially in the SMB field, small and medium enterprise, SME field, you will find that there are pretty random and pretty badly documented cable paths put throughout the building. If it hasn't been built anywhere, past the 90s, you might have something which is very random and very hard to track, including sockets that have no documentation on them. And yeah, if that documentation is taken away, no label on that socket anymore, it's quite hard to find, because you can go off to test all the other ones, which is a kind of two-man job to do and very frustrating. For this reason, we added sockets also. So a socket, we can say this is, give it a nice name, socket 2, socket 25 on floor 2, we're just going to call it. And we've connected here an endpoint socket where we can basically select where the other side is. Yeah, there's this socket on the other side. Connect socket endpoint location room. I'm not actually sure how well this works. This was something where we sort of tried out our coding skills back then, but the idea is to have the one side and the other side, and this will then connect it and select exactly this one. Archive, yeah. Not something, this is probably the old way of how we did it. Yeah, not entirely sure. It's been a long time. Good, we have a socket, and we have a room, location room, connect socket endpoint. Does that make sense? Location room, connect socket. This will replace the currently connected endpoint. Identifier S7, location room. Yeah, I'm not going to touch that for now. Good. I'm going to go back to my room here. We see there's a socket in this room. The socket, might have a connection. Sometimes, you want to have certain devices connected to certain sockets. You might want to track, because there's older cables and newer cables, and that's why there's different transmission speeds and so on. So we found the need at some point to add this socket. We go back to the configuration item. We go back to this PC. We see there's software in there. So see there's a user account. There's no backup configured here, and there's no other configuration which is connected to this. We're going to connect this. There's a 3D mouse that we want to use. No, actually a 3D drawing pad, whatever it is, but just to stay in the graphical part, we will add a solution. Say this is also part of the graphics and other marketing material stuff. No internet needed. This is all not needed either. Contact table, this would be the person who's mainly using it. Wolfram is the one who's the main user. This is a peripheral. That's spelled, doesn't matter. We might have another contact here who is Anna, and Anna is the maintainer of this. And yeah, we can have other, add a phone number here. I think it's, the phone number will be fetched from that contact responsibility. Yeah, there can also be some text added to what this person should be doing. Knows everything about this device. Uses this every day. So it's small information like this, but very specific towards something, which can be very important and save loads and loads and loads of time calling through hotlines and trying to find information. Because I don't know, could also be something like, maintainer holds the admin password and won't share it. Yeah, could be something like this. Also very valuable information, and then you might know how to deal with this person, or that this person needs to come by and actually do it in person. Whatever it is, we've seen a lot of scenarios, and this is why a lot of scenarios can be catered for here. We have created this configuration item, which was a client computer. No, we wanted to do a different type, which is a peripheral. Again, not spelled correctly, doesn't matter. Windows PC 1, it has a wrong name. Graphics, tablet. Can update this. Yeah, now we have this configuration item. We go back, we have 2 now, and the configuration item, we would link this graphics tablet. Again, this link here might not work, but the overall idea, I think, is used as input device. Good. So we do all the links and backlinks. Again, this is not fully complete, but it should be at some point. Again, some code is needed to do that. Let's go back to our IT landscape where we're coming from. We don't see all the links here now because of this bug that we are seeing, but let's ignore that and have a look if we can use some other link. For example, the location IT landscape. Again, we can link that, but not see the links. We have a location address. This is also with the address. There's a location room. What am I looking for? I'm looking for a location room. In the location room, we have the devices. The configuration items, obviously, they could also be in the location. Does it make sense to have them there? Maybe, I don't know. But again, this is something that can be configured with a fetch from. This is something also subnet. So in the whole networking part, we have our subnet 192.168.0.0 with a 24 subnet mask customer. This is our own company. Yeah, our company. It's trying to do a fetch from here. Customer name, we'll have to add a field here. Customer data, customer name. Probably do a custom, no, that works, good. Mandatory field. Customer, yeah, I'm trying to set it here, so what's going on? customer name. Let's reload this. 192.168.0.0/24 customer. Now it's getting the name. IT landscape. Now we can save this. Okay. Good. A subnet. What is a subnet? A subnet hosts all our IP addresses. We can connect it to a local area network. There's a network interface controller. So we take this very exact as well. Yeah, that an IT subnet has IP addresses in it. There's network interface controllers connected to it. So it's not necessarily a computer connected, the configuration item. Why? Well, a configuration item can have several network interface controllers. Even, I couldn't think of any reason why, but even two network controllers could be connected to the same subnet. And also, if things like that happen, then we can see this in this database very quickly without seeing the computer actually being turned on or something. Yeah, and also add a validation, so we will actually notice when this becomes a problem. There's a MAC address. I think there's a validation on how this works. Let me see. Yes, maybe I can copy exactly this one. This is also one of our early coding parts that we put in here. We have the subnet, our IP address 192.168.1.0.177 is going to be the one. I don't need this. This is fine. Host. This is, I'm not exactly sure if this is the, yeah, so network, right? We have this network interface controller. In this case, it would be our host, our Windows PC. Host name, don't need that here. Don't need that socket, which it's connected to. There is a socket. We'll use that for now. Good. Then there is another network interface controller, which would be the MAC address again. And there's a subnet, same connected. And there's a 192.168.0.254, which is often used for a firewall, for example, or some other. Yeah, and I'm just going to call this DHP networking server with switch built in. And let's put this in here, save this, needs a type. I'm going to call this a router. Good. We save this, we go back to our network interface controller. Okay, that's gone. Create a new one, put that MAC in there again. And this is also something, virtual MAC addresses. This can be validated if you have several MAC addresses in one, in all your IT assets somewhere. You would find them. Want to add this to our subnet, add an IP address 192.168.0.117. Host is our DHPC. This is not correct. We want to have 254 here, and this would be, save this. So network interface controllers, we have two. Yeah, we see they're both in the same subnet. This is then something that can be searched for as well. Subnet. Yeah, and then this would show. I can filter for that. And when going to my subnet, we see there are two network interface controllers connected to this. We thought about back then creating IP address as also, it's separate object. We didn't get around doing that. Maybe it would make sense to do that. Again, one IP address can be then, you could link, like when you're doing the whole DNS management, handling your domain names where several CNAMEs and whatever could be connected to one IP address. That is where that could come in handy. Yeah, we didn't do it back then, could easily be changed. Maybe we'll upgrade that. Let me create a issue for that. IP address, ITM IP address, a single doc type. That's doc type, not a single doc type. That's a special terminology. ITM may be a good idea to create a on doc type for the IP address. Easier management when it comes to DNS, A records, CNAMEs, etc. Yeah, for those who know what that is, they'll know. For those who don't bother worrying about it right now. Good, we have network interface controllers. We have our subnet. We're going to go into our subnet. We see our subnet is part of a local area network. This is part of our location. We're going to save this. Our local area network has some subnets inside. VLAN tags. You can see this is also something that we looked into working with when, handling the same. Again, something important to use. The links may be one subnet used in several local area networks. I'm not sure if that's possible, but yeah, I'm not going to care about that right now, to be honest. Yeah. Good. Here are all general IT stuff. Again, a lot of documentation. People are looking for these things, right? It's hard to find. We don't want to be in a situation having to log in to a broken DHP server, which is, I don't know, just is not available anymore, and have to log in to find this information. We want to know because we're documenting this. Why do we want to know? We want to be prepared for changing these devices. It's about knowing your infrastructure and being able to exchange it and not, having to restore a broken device, which is, I don't know, maybe it's burnt down, bricked or whatever it is, and not accessible. And then it's small things like if it has a special DHCP range, which was documented for some reason, and then a new device is bought, that range is not respected. Then some computers which have a fixed IP address will somehow misbehave, and so on. These are the things that happen when you lose oversight over such a IT landscape. That's again where we get back to this terminology and where it all sort of ties into. Good, let's go to the IT landscape because it shows us all the links and shows us what we might have missed. We've looked at locations, we've looked at location rooms. Let's go here. Yeah, there are several rooms. There could be, we didn't do this, but we could obviously add a floor map that we can, floor plan it's called, to know what the building actually looks like. Again, the whole idea is to be able to work, to be able to identify a problem, ideally with not having to drive there. And a lot of the times you have to guide personnel there via the phone. We call them up, you ask them which computer is affected, and they say, well, it's the gray computer. And you say, well, that's no good. And if you have a location in front of you, a room in front of you, then you can help these people and guide them and say, hey, look, it says here this computer by the window, and the computer has a graphics tablet connected to it, and then that person will be able to answer a lot more confidently to your questions. Good. let's go back to our IT landscape. Locations we've now talked about. Licenses, user accounts, how these are connected. User groups is something we haven't looked into yet. We have this problem again with the property setter. Where are you? This one. Duplicate user group. And I think it was the customer field. Don't remember. Customer, yeah, very good. So user group, we're going to look at this. I don't know. License administrators. Yeah, so these are all the license administrators. There's a user account. I'm not sure why. A solution, this one, user account type. We can save this, and then user accounts can be part of a user. This is not mandatory. User account, user group. License administrators, no. Not entirely sure. But this is something I remember that, yeah, we didn't really get finished, but the overall idea is there are permission groups. You might have rules. We are doing this in our ERP implementation a lot, right? That we have role permission manager, where I have these roles and such a role, right? Purchase manager, maybe that's something that we want to have reflected in a user group. Yeah, sort of still a little open to be defined. The service checklist, we've looked into this, right, is the checklist on how to do things and at the same time make sure that they are actually filled correctly. And this could obviously, again, by script be validated to be working correctly. And maybe also, you know, show a percentage of if this is completed by counting the checkboxes or whatever it is. But again, we didn't have the knowledge back then to do this on a very high sophisticated level. Looked at host domains. Did we look at that? No. We looked at subnets. This is what we looked at. Local area networks we saw. We saw the network interface controllers. They all don't turn up here. Maybe they should. Maybe not on this level, but probably they should on this level. The IT landscape should be a level where you can really navigate to everything right away. And also, depending on which field you're working, right? Some people, they know their networks via the IP addresses. They know the server is reachable at whatever because they are using SSH all the time. Then other people, they come more from a software perspective and will be looking via software because they say, I know this Adobe software is installed on that computer, and that's why I will find it via the license, for example, and be like, okay, this is my license, and there's a software instance not working here. There's a user account, and this user account is on this software instance. Now it's being used here on this, and then you've identified a software instance, and that's on a configuration item. And then you've identified the configuration item in this landscape, and maybe other people go via a location room because they remember being there, and then they find this PC. So the idea is we want to navigate from all sorts of directions right to where we want to go. Host domain, let's have a look at it. It is something new. I think the logo of this is something like, we'll actually do this, famous EU. So this is our website host domain. We have to add a backlink for this to work, if I'm not mistaken. Configuration item. Configuration item, jump to field, host, there's no such thing, customize we will add a section at the top following our best practice, custom via UI, and add a link field to host domain. Option missing, host domain. Non-content. Custom host domain. This can be changed by a property setter. I'm not going to do this right now. So yeah, it's just going to add this. Anyway, we have this host domain. Again, we're also thinking about really representing all that, because we have this customer domain TLD, right? There's mail dot, there might be cloud dot, there might be tickets dot, all these things. And this again, yeah, the whole host domain DNS part we didn't really work on so far, but that also is something that wants to be managed and wants to be more transparency around that. So that also can be accessed when doing migrations, because again, that's one of the major problems. You move the server from one place to a next, and then all these things are again missing. No one knows the C names, the A records, the different links. Then suddenly there's a dynamic DNS connected to that domain name. And yeah, I've seen all these things. And again, this is what it's going to solve. I think this gave a quite good overview of how this app works. We did see that there are some things that need fixing to get it work. As a summary, what I want to share is the future strategy is that this will all be called ITM, and that all these doc types, they will be cleaned up. I'm quite satisfied about how clean this is related to the links to ERPNext. So the idea is to make it independent from ERPNext. Maybe there should be not maybe, but there should be an option, IT management settings. This is also something we want to look into. In these IT management settings, we might have a checkbox saying, use with ERPNext, and as soon as that is activated, then, for example, a customer link field, a supplier link field, the ones that we were editing via the the property setters earlier, can be completely fixed and then rolled out via a code that runs when activating that option. But yeah, beyond that, this is how it's going to work. ITM landscape, we see this is the smaller version of it that would then be populated with all the links to these different configuration items that are part of this landscape. We have host items, hypervisors. We've tried to put this here. Software that is installed here, hypervisor. This is maybe, what is it called? Proxmox is our software. Proxmox IT software. We want to have this software here, Proxmox VE, I think it's called, virtualization environment. Let's say it runs out end of this year, it's active. We save this software instance. We have that here. Software instance. There's this client PC set. Not sure why I created this. IT landscape. Yeah, we have this. Proxmox. It's on the hypervisor. I don't remember. Yeah, and then we can see all the licensing part, the user accounts, all that is missing here. And this is the next step where we really wanted to onboard this step by step, really cleaning it up, making sure that it has a nice structure, making better use of the field spacing, and using, a lot of options that are now available when using the version 16 With that, I'm going to wrap this up. I hope this video was helpful to get an impression on how this app works. I'm aware this video is quite long and gives you, yeah, might be a little bit messy from time to time. Got a little lost here and there, but the magic about a video is we can use it to scroll back and forth and fix these problems and go back where it might have been a little unclear. The best is really try this software, try creating your own IT, yeah, your own IT landscape, which you have at home, might be small, just a computer, your router, a phone that is in the wireless network. Install some software on that phone, on that computer, see how it's connected. For example, you have your Gmail account and you might be, getting that on your computer with a software like Thunderbird. That Gmail account, it has a server behind it. It's then linked into this Thunderbird software. It hosts a solution, which is your emails, and then you have that same account logged into your Gmail app on your mobile phone. And yeah, you can see all the links, and just a small scenario like that should also already give you quite a good idea of how this all works, and then show you in the IT landscape so you can see all these things. And as we know, homeowners nowadays, they have quite a complex IT infrastructure with all this IoT things and home automation. So this can also be interesting for home users to better understand what they actually have and where they might run into a bottleneck with their IP addresses and so on. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd very much appreciate if you also contribute towards the software. I'll share all the links to our GitHub in the video notes, and I'm looking forward to seeing some comments from you and seeing issues created happily. A lot of these things can nowadays very easily also be worked on by AI, which will automatically create the changes in the code and the pull requests if these descriptions are good. I haven't really tried it yet, but something that can be tried. And with that we can probably quite quickly get all these missing links working in this software and provide a software which can be used by anyone, anywhere, and completely free of charge, and is hopefully going to solve or at least release some headache here or there. Thank you very much.